هيدر أكر هي السيدة اللي اشتغلت على تنظيم المتحف الإسلامي بالDIA، وجمعت التحف الأثرية الموجودة بالمتحف الإسلامي من عدة نقاط بالأرض، وأقدم على مساعدتها العديد من الأشخاص حول العالم.
And it's taken some time to pull together in the sense that all of the works of art have been cleaned and restored and remounted, and we also have pulled together loans from other collections to try to tell more stories than we're able to with our collection alone. And really this is the most ambitious project to exhibit Islamic art that the DIA has ever done in its 125-year history.
لا شك في أنه 9/11 كان لها تأثير كبير على العرب والمسلمين، ولكنها كانت أيضاً الدافع الأساسي لفكرة إنشاء المتحف الإسلامي بالDIA.
With the happening, the event of 9/11, to me it was even more important to get the Islamic collection on view. There are all kinds of misconceptions from one religion to another, and that many of them tend not to be very flattering. And certainly the view of the Islamic world has been so influenced by recent political events that tend to be unflattering and uncomplimentary. That laying out the breadth, depth in terms of time and geography of what is represented with Islamic art, and especially the period from roughly say 700-800 through to 1400, when the whole Islamic world, driven by different empires at different groups at different times, was this astonishingly broad-minded and tolerant culture. And at the very time that we think of Christians as getting Spain back for Christianity, we forget how absolutely intolerant of other religions Christianity was at that time, exactly the opposite of what had been represented by Islam. And then, of course, with the Ottoman Empire, the sort of the last of the greatest caliphs, you had early on, you had tremendous variety with individuals from all kinds of backgrounds rising to be viziers and all those sorts of things. And that is just not understood and is not recognized. And what we tend to see when we look at the Turkish Empire, we tend to get reminded of the Armenian massacres. And those kinds of things happen whenever empires get weak. Whatever the empire is, as it gets weaker, it tends to get nastier to whatever entity it regards as an enemy or something threatening what they decide are core values, where in fact those core values have been surrounded by extraordinary variety and tolerance for centuries, and then suddenly it becomes untenable.
مستر بيل جال معنا على عدد من القطع الأثرية الإسلامية الموجودة بالDIA، وحكي عنها وعن تفاصيلها وكيف اجت ووين كانت وحتى قديش كان سعرها وكيف تم البت عليها.
It was a great trade route for many years. It was controlled by Islamic nations, but what you saw happening, one of the things you saw happening was the Chinese had these great industries where they made blue and white ceramics that were desired everywhere in the world, and these things would travel along the Silk Road, and then craftspeople and others in West Asia, they made things that the Chinese were interested in, and so they started making, let's say, a particular kind of oil lamp was liked by the Chinese. You will see that shape being made in something else, ceramic maybe, going to China, and the design sort of going backwards and forwards, and we see that here perfectly with this beautiful blue and white, the Chinese example with its sort of blacker blue color, and then this brilliant blue and white piece of Iznik ware that clearly is taken from the Chinese example. This piece happened to be, when we acquired it, we set a record for the price of a piece of blue and white Iznik ware, and the individual who had owned it was a Dutch family, and they were extremely surprised because they had used it in their home to keep their car keys.
بالطبع الحفاظ على التحف الأثرية يأخذ العديد من الانتباه لكل التفاصيل، وقد تكون هناك دراسات عديدة حول كيفية وضع هذه الأثرات بالأماكن الصحيحة وكيفية نقلها من مكان إلى آخر دون أن تتأثر بأي ضرر.
No, we're very, very, very careful. We move things very, very carefully. If you're working with a vitrine and a particular work of art, there must be 3 technicians. You can't have 2 trying to sort of do the whole thing themselves, because you want to place the object, and then when you're lifting that great big thing on top of it, 2 people could lose control and the thing could drop down. So we're just very, very careful. The Tate Gallery in Britain did a study a couple of decades ago now, when they told their technicians, he said, move this object according to our regulations. And then they said, okay, we want you to do it 10% faster. And then when they did that, another 10% faster. And by the time they got to 20% faster, they were making mistakes, and the objects were, of course, they were not important things that they were working with, but they would have been broken.
من الأشياء الجميلة بالمتاحف أنه بيتم عادة استعارة بعض التحف الأثرية من معرض إلى معرض آخر ومن متحف إلى متحف آخر حتى يتمكن الجميع وين ما كانوا بالعالم من رؤية هذه التحف. فمثلا التحف اللي موجودة بمتحف اللوفر بباريس من المحتمل كتير أن نشوفها بالDIA لفترة معينة.
We lend works of art to other institutions' exhibitions all the time, which is why we can also organize exhibitions, because if we were to just ask a great museum in Germany, we need your head of Jesus for our exhibition, they would think, well, why would we risk a work of art going all the way to America because it's not good for the work of art? Well, they're actually thinking, what are we going to be asking the DIA for sometime in the future? So it's kind of our currency. They're not one-on-one exchanges, but that's all part of how we do business. And then you do also have examples where you just simply want to borrow things on a long-term loan. And so here in the Islamic exhibition, we have a number of objects that come from a private collection here in Detroit, and some of the in the section that talks about the book, the people of the book, we have some Jewish manuscripts and Christian manuscripts as well as Islamic material. In the case of the Christian manuscripts, we have them here, but in the case of the Jewish, the Torah manuscripts that aren't more about writing than about art, we've borrowed from a couple of significant museums, and so we have to renew those loans all the time.
هيدا جزء من هالسجادة، هيدي بنقدر نشوف قديش هي بالفعل مصنوعة بشكل جدا تقني وهندسي. بنلاحظ قديش في البارتس كلهم متوازيين. هي بتعود لسنة 1650 وهي اجت من انديا من الهند. هيدي البيسة ما انوجدت كلها، يعني ما قدروا يحافظوا عليه هي هالجزء البسيط منها. وبنلاحظ هون انه الاشخاص اللي كانوا يمتلكوها يمكن ما عرفوا قيمتها بهداك الوقت. هذه السجادة بيعود تاريخها لسنة 1620، والقصة وراء هيدي السجادة الكاربت اللي عم نشوفها هي أساساً من إنديا، وكما بتحصل العادة بتوارث الأشياء، فهيدي السجادة توارثت من الأم لابنتها، وهكذا استمروا بتوارث هيدي السجادة لو وصلت لهون للDIA الارت جاليري. جميلة جدا من التفاصيل اللي موجودة فيها بطريقة الديزاين اللي موجوده. بنلاحظ كمان قديش تناسق الالوان ما بين الازرق الاحمر وحتى الدوائر اللي موجوده. بالفعل very unique art pieces موجوده هون بالDIA. اكيد ما في داعي نحكي عن هيدي السيوف، كلنا بنعرفهم. في منهم الحلو انه هيدا بيرجع لل 1700 ميلاديه، وهون عنا بيرجعوا لل 1680 ميلاديه. بنظر مستر بيل الجميع مدعوون اليوم للDIA لحتى يتعرفوا على حضاره وتاريخ من كل العالم. والمركز الإسلامي أو المتحف الإسلامي الموجود بالDIA كمان بياخد نقطة كبيرة من حياة المسلمين والحضارة الإسلامية.
I would like to invite the American and Middle East community to come to the DIA, see our small but significant collection of Islamic material, and then also see the rest of the museum, because one of the most irritating things is that people seem to assume that because the city of Detroit is in the state that it is today, that the museum can't be very much. And this is one of the great collections put together with astonishing wealth, most of it coming from the auto industry. And it's a great museum with a great collection.
بنفتخر إن نلاقي بهالمكان أشياء مجمعة يمكن نحن اللي من أصل عربي ما بقى عنا إياها موجودة، أو يمكن عنا إياها وما بنعرف شو قيمتها. فكل واحد منكم عنده ببيته قطعة ثمينة يحافظ عليها ويعرف إنه في أجيال حتدرس عنها وحتتوارثها وحتحكي بيوم من الأيام قديش حضارة الإسلامية أو أي حضارة أخرى مهمة.
من الضروري إنه نحن لنا مسؤولية كعرب وكمسلمين أن نحافظ على تراثنا وأن نظهر تراثنا على أحسن وجه وأن نظهر الوجه الصحيح عن التراث. لذلك بعتقد أنه هيدا رح يكون له رد فعل، لكن حسب ما نحن بنقوم في العمل. يعني هاي المسؤولية علينا نحن، مش بس على الDIA.
بالفعل بنشعر بهالمكان قديش أهمية حضارتنا وثقافتنا من وين ما كانت. بنلاقي بهالمكان قديش قيموا هيدي القصص وهالبيسز الصغيرة وحطوها بأماكن وراها جلاس لحتى تحميها من الافكتس تبع الزمن او تبع الانفايرمنت. كتير جميل اليوم برحلتي للDIA، وانا بعرف انه كتار منكم استفادوا وانبسطوا كتير برحلتنا للDIA لديترويت انستيتيوت اوف ارت. تعلمنا كتير عن هالحضاره الاسلاميه اللي خصص لها الDIA مركز له بديترويت. اكيد بنلتقي بحلقات جديده بنحكي عن حضاره جديده الاسبوع الجاي، خليكم معنا.